This and this do not go together. Actually, it's coffee and sugar, so they do go together. But in the case of what I'm talking about, these do not go together. Hi-oh friends, welcome back to another vlog, and let me tell you, I have got an incredible amount of excitement to have you joining me for this vlog because we are talking about attitude. Specifically, my attitude and how some research that I did in mid 2018, really helped me to figure some stuff out that was driving me bananas, and it was creating some mental chaos, if you will. So I'm really excited that you're gonna join me in this one. Now we're gonna learn some stuff, and hopefully what I tell you about what happened to me and what I learned from it will help some of you, maybe a lot of you, maybe a little of you, maybe just one of you. But if it does help just one, then that's amazing. If it helps 100 of you, that's incredible. If it helps 1,000, you understand where I'm going with this. The gist of this is that I was running into these what seemed like random episodes of anger, bordering on rage. I'd be emotional. One minute I'd be screaming at something. The next minute I'd be crying about something, and I'd just be upset. And oh man, it was nuts. I had high anxiety. My depression was overwhelming, and it was the worst. And I say it was the worst because it was uncontrollable. And I'm sure people are like, well, what do you mean it was uncontrollable? You choose your reaction to things and you choose the way you feel. And yeah, I agree with that 100%. I believe that, I've made that choice in 2019 to choose happiness, and I've made that choice to be happier in life, and you can do that. But this was different. This was something that as it came on kind of quick, and all of a sudden, bang, it's happening, and I couldn't control it. I had no control over it, and it was really tough because on one hand, I realized that I am this maniac person, this crazy person, and on the other hand, I can't do anything about it. There's nothing I could do. And it was almost always in social situations, which was the worst, because obviously there's friends around, there's people around, and who's this maniac over here going off? And that was me. So I had to really kind of buckle down and try and figure out what was causing these things, because let me tell you that these episodes have cost me a lot. It cost me friends. It's cost me a lot of relationship grief that I've worked really hard to try and overcome, and some that I haven't been able to overcome. And it's really caused me a lot of internal grief when I think about those times, and I think about time that I lost because I was angry. Like, I don't get that time back. You don't get that time back. And that's something that's frustrating as well. So I did a lot of research to try and figure this out, and I did figure it out. During these situations, I was trying to figure out what did each situation have in common with the other, that I could narrow it down to be like, oh, this happened all at the same time. Like, hey Lance, someone punched you in the face that night, and it happened every time. Okay, I could see why I might get upset with that, or that might happen, but that's obviously not the case. So one thing I did kind of narrow it down to is alcohol. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. I mean, to put it in perspective for you, on average, I might have like half a drink a week. That's how much alcohol I drink. I don't drink a lot. In a couple of the episodes, I had drank in excess. In one, I hadn't drank in excess, but I had some alcohol. And in others, I hadn't had any, I realized. So I was like, okay, well, I don't think it's gonna be alcohol. And typically for me, anytime I have alcohol, if I have it in excess, it kind of amplifies the feelings I'm having. So if I'm having a good time, if I'm excited, if I'm having fun, it brings those feelings up and I have more of it. But on the flip side of that, if I am upset or I'm having a bad time, then it can kind of really amplify that. And in all these instances, I was definitely having fun. So it's not a situation where I would all of a sudden just be mad about something, because we were having a good time. So I kind of ruled out alcohol. So then I'm back to the drawing board. Okay, what else? What other things, were in common? I realized in a lot of these instances, I've been drinking caffeine. One particular situation where this outburst arose, we'd gone a long distance to have some fun for a couple of nights, and the one night I was beat after a long trek there, and I had like 3 cups of coffee followed up by 2 Red Bulls afterwards. So a lot of caffeine intake. So I don't drink a lot of caffeine. So I'm thinking, well, it probably isn't that, because even if I have had caffeine in the past, I haven't really felt this way. Caffeine in low doses can be quite good for you. It can really help your mental alertness. It can give you more focus, which is great. But caffeine in high doses can kind of give you the opposite effect, especially as I found out that for people who struggle with mental health issues, as I do, it can really cause a lot of issues. It can ramp up anxiety. It can really heighten depression, feelings of depression, and it can be really overwhelming if you have too much caffeine. When these episodes were happening, I was consuming anywhere from 420 to 560 milligrams of caffeine per day. So let me put that in perspective. What people deem to be addictive as it pertains to caffeine is 100 milligrams per day. When you're taking in nearly 5 times that amount, that is a problem. That's a huge problem. And I would argue that at some point I probably did become addicted to it. Refined sugar is another thing that I'd had quite a bit of. So when I think about some of the outbursts, I'd had a lot of coffee and Baileys. Some of them obviously vodka Red Bulls. And as you can tell, there's a bit of a trend with some alcohol here and refined sugar that was in alcohol. But also some of the things that I'd eaten, I can remember it happening. And I kind of deduced that I was taking in between 50 and 150 grams of refined sugar per day. So refined sugar is especially hard on the liver. It's highly addictive, truthfully. It's almost like nicotine, like it's highly addictive. And it's probably the number one cause of obesity in the world, I would say. So as I mentioned in a previous vlog, when I moved to Alberta, I'd added like 40 pounds. I was almost 210 pounds, which for me is a ton of weight. Considering, in my peak physical condition in like 2013 to 2015, I was 170 pounds. So I'd put on a ton of weight. I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't sleeping worth a damn. Obviously, I wasn't exercising. And as I stated in the very first vlog, that my mental health is directly impacted by what I'm eating, when I'm eating it, and how much physical exercise I'm getting. That, coupled with the fact that I was drinking and eating all these different things as it pertains to caffeine and refined sugar, I kind of narrowed it down that this could be the problem. In late 2018, I made a change to get back into the gym and start working hard on my fitness levels. And obviously, as we talked about before, I've lost a lot of weight, and my nutrition is on point, my weightlifting and my workout regimen is on point. So to kind of give you an idea as to where I'm at now with caffeine and refined sugar intake, right now my sugar intake for refined sugar is basically zero. My sugar sources now are anywhere from 15 to 25 to 30 grams of sugar a day from natural sources, as I mentioned, fruits, vegetables, that kind of stuff. And then my caffeine intake is limited to 100 milligrams a day. So pre-workout in the morning, I take a 100 milligram caffeine pill. Just gives me a little jolt before I hit the gym, and I do that on a fast. I work out in a fasted state, and that's it. After that point, if I decide I'm gonna have like a latte, by the way, lattes are the best. I can't drink drip coffee, which is absolutely strange because I love lattes, but lattes, man, I'm telling you, that is where it's at. I could drink those things all day, but in decaf form. So once I kind of got my fitness and my nutrition on track, in around July 2019, I decided I was gonna try an experiment. What I did was I went to Starbucks and grabbed a grande latte. I brought it home and I loaded it up with some Baileys. And this is probably late morning. Loaded it up with Baileys and had it. And in 2 hours, I was feeling exactly as I expected that I would. I was angry. I was upset. My depression was at an all-time high, and that lasted for a day. It took till nearly midday the next day before the effects of that finally wore off, and it was good timing because we were going out with some friends, and there's nothing worse than hanging out with friends and one guy, me, is absolutely angry at everything. But I still hadn't totally solved it because I'd taken both, so I didn't know if it was a combination or I didn't know if it was one or the other. So the following week, I decided to try everything kind of individually. So I had a Starbucks latte, just a regular one without any refined sugar in it, i.e. Baileys, just refined sugar that came in the milk, which is, basically nothing. I also tried a decaf latte from Starbucks with the Baileys, so no caffeine with refined sugar, and the side effects were zero. I didn't have any of them. I didn't have any side effects. Even with the caffeine, didn't cause me any grief. Even with the non-caffeinated drink and the refined sugar, I didn't have any. So I was able to conclude that for some reason, I have got a problem. My body does not react well to a mixture of caffeine and refined sugar in excess amounts. It might be different for you. It might not be different for you. Maybe you are experiencing these explosive type things like I was. Maybe you find yourself angry. Maybe you find yourself in a state of depression that you feel like you can't overcome. If that's the case, I would suggest you start looking at your nutrition right away. And I would look right away as it pertains to caffeine and refined sugar? Are you taking them in combination? Are you taking them at all? And everybody's chemical balance is different. Mine's gonna be different than yours. Mine's gonna be different than my wife's. You're gonna be different than my wife. You're gonna be different than your neighbor. Everybody's a little bit different. But I almost believe that if I'm somebody who deals with this issue, there's certainly going to be other people who are dealing with this as well, and it could be you. And maybe you're saying to yourself, well, I don't have those explosive outbursts, or I don't get angry. But if you even take a second to consider the fact that you might be taking in refined sugar, or you might be taking in an excess of caffeine, your body doesn't need caffeine. Your body doesn't need refined sugar. It's okay to take caffeine in small doses, as I mentioned, for alertness and general focus, but excess amounts, get rid of it. And maybe you're one of those people who's like, hey man, I can't function all day without like 3 coffees or 5 coffees or whatever it is. I assure you that you can function all day without 5 coffees. It's just a matter of you having the willpower inside to say, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Just like I made the choice in 2019 to say, I'm not gonna get angry anymore. I'm not going to be an angry person. I'm going to choose to be happy. And I'm telling you, you can do it. Your body will kind of come back at you and be like, whoa, I need that caffeine. Where is it? And you can say, no, I'm not giving it to you. You can block it out. You like that? Those are karate moves, I think. Block. You know how you block it out? Same with the refined sugar. Your body's going to want to crave it because you've been having it for so long, but you can block it out as well. See how lightning fast that was? Oh, yeah, I can block it. Refined sugar's coming over here. Block. See that? Caffeine over here, block. Yeah. It took me a long time to figure this out. As I mentioned, it took me some relationship struggles. It's taken me all kinds of things. I've dealt with some stuff in this process, but I figured it out. And that's the number one thing that I'm proud of, is that I actually did figure it out. And since I made those changes and since I've changed my nutrition, I don't deal with these anymore. I don't deal with the explosive outbursts. I don't deal with being angry. I mean, everybody gets upset about things, but I'm not in the same way. And I'm really proud of myself for that. And you can be proud of yourself too. And I want to be proud of you of finding out these things that don't help you in life. I want you to find things that do help you in life. So if you've got success stories you want to tell me, or even if you listen to this vlog and you're like, holy crap, I never even considered that, and you try and it changes something for you, that's amazing. I want to hear about it. So put it in the comments below. Tell me about your success stories. And if you don't have any right now and you're struggling with something, again, comment below. My email's right there, right underneath me here. Email's right here. So you can reach out to me via email. I'm happy to respond. I'd love to see you kind of be successful like I am in this regard. And hopefully it'll help to turn your life around, just these little incremental changes. And that's what I hope for you. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you like this content, if you want to learn more about what's worked for me as it pertains to mental health, well-being, and fitness. We're trying to end the stigma here. We're trying to be happy, trying to go through our lives being positive, and that's what it's all about. So thanks again for watching, and remember, choose happiness.